Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Simply Michelle, with yours truly, Michelle here. If you are new and stopping by for the first time, I hope that you would decide to become a part of the tribe and subscribe to my channel. And if you are returning, thank you so much for the love and support. It is greatly appreciated. All right, y'all. So let's hop into this. So, I have a question for my viewers out there. Can having a type cause you to miss out on a potential partner? Hmm? Once again, can having a type cause you to miss out on a potential partner? All right. So, let's find out. So, getting caught up on a particular look, features, skin tone, height, and body type may cause you to miss out. It may cause you to actually miss out on a potential partner. Some of the reasons why is that it may cause you to misjudge and do unfair comparisons to people who you don't consider to be your type, thus causing you to miss out on a potential partner. Also, you miss out on quality key characteristics that make a good partner, like being able to hold an intellectual conversation, emotional stability, and maturity, just to name a few. Someone you may actually have the potential to build with in the future. Sometimes a type can be a fantasy or superficial, and the reason why is because you are stuck on more so the appearance of a person when it comes to a type, not necessarily their personality or their characteristics, like if they're funny, if they're a good listener, if they're someone who's compassionate, like I mentioned earlier, emotionally stable. Those qualities um, really can make or break a relationship. Um, if you're someone who gets caught up on a certain type, which a lot of us do, a lot of us gets, caught up on types. I'm not excluded from this. I'm not gonna lie, I do have a tendency to be a little bit broader in when it comes to my options in dating. I'm not stuck on like one race, things like that. Um, Although I do love black love, I'm not opposed to dating outside of my race, to find love or to find a future partner. And sometimes when we get really stuck on dating, like not dating outside of our race or dating someone that has, certain features, a certain look, a certain body type, a certain skin tone, it limits us from really being able to find someone, like I said earlier, I'm kind of repeating myself here now, someone that we can build with. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that you don't even end up being with the person that you consider to be your type anyway. A lot of the times you end up being with someone that is not your type, someone that you would never thought that you would even, be with. Um, but if you're someone who always falls for a particular type, and you're not really open minded to dating someone outside of, the that type that you have set, ask yourself the question, why doesn't it seem to work out with your type? Because I am a part of a lot of Facebook groups, a lot of relationship Facebook groups. And just from me being on social media and, exploring different topics when it comes to relationships and things of that nature, there's almost always a situation where, there's someone, that's like, it doesn't work out. Like it never works out. Like with all of the guys that they've been with, or with all of the women that they've been with, it has never worked out. And a lot of the times it's because you're stuck on a type and you can't get yourself from that type. That's why I said earlier that a type can be, sorry y'all, a type can be superficial. It can be superficial, and it can even be like a fantasy, because a lot of the times your type can be really disappointing. But I feel like sometimes your type can be like an addiction, because it's like you're determined to find that person that's your type, and they also have the characteristics to go along with it. And a lot of the times, realistically, that's just not the case. Also, what happens when they do something that is toxic or detrimental to the relationship? Sometimes people will stay stuck in a toxic situation due to the fact that the person is their type, therefore not holding the other person accountable when they should. They overlook things and they give a pass to unhealthy behaviors due to the fact that they're super attracted to this person. This person is their type, and it's crazy to keep yourself stuck in a situation like that. So I did a little digging, just a little bit. I came across this website called Very Well Mind, and there's an article that I just so happened to come across called Why It May Be Worth Dating Someone Who Isn't Your Type. And it says sometimes the best relationships are with people we never expected. And so I was just reading through the article, and it does mention, it says dating the same kind of person has its downsides. So I'm just going to read little excerpts here and there from the article because it's really long. But if you want to, you can check it out. It's verywellmind.com. All right. But it says that it's beautiful to choose partners based on personal characteristics and traits, and that the real issue is why some people choose toxic partners with unhealthy attachment styles and start relationships with them. This pattern can limit our ability to have healthy relationships. Just like I mentioned, it says if you found yourself choosing emotionally unhealthy partners, that pattern can't change until you learn how to change your type. Choosing toxic partners repeatedly essentially means rejecting the option of having healthy relationships, which can be challenging to establish. Also, it says that it could become an endless cycle with a pairing of two unhealthy attachment styles. And that while therapy can help identify the root of the problem and assist in building a healthy relationship, it is impossible to establish a healthy relationship if both partners have unhealthy attachment styles. So, if you're choosing partners based on physical attributes, that can also be extremely limiting in closing yourself off from anyone who doesn't possess those physical traits. You might be missing someone who would be a much deeper connection for you emotionally. And then it goes on to say, reasons why you should expand your horizons when it comes to choosing and picking a partner. Um, it says not only can dating someone who isn't your usual type improve your chances of finding a partner because you'll have more people to choose from, it can also lead to a more fulfilling and emotionally healthy relationship. And I do know that I had one lady that I spoke with, and this was some time ago. And we just, ended up having a conversation. And she was telling me how she was in a string of relationships that just did not pan out, just didn't work out. And she was telling me about how she had, prayed to God, and she told God that, This time around, she didn't want a particular type of man. She wasn't looking for a man with specific physical attributes, but she wanted a man who was going to respect her and just treat her like a queen, treat her like she deserved to be treated. And there was a book that she mentioned to me. The book is posted on my on the community page to my YouTube channel. It's a post I did a while back, and I believe the author's name is Stephen Laboso. Don't quote me on that. I believe, but I think it's either Stephen or Stefan Laboso. And it's The Man God Has for You. That's the name of the book, The Man God Has for You. And after talking to her, I purchased the book. It's a really good book. But she said she read that book, and that book gave her so much clarity and understanding on the mistakes that she was making when choosing a partner and when looking for a potential partner. And so because she had beautiful pictures in her office. She had beautiful pictures. Yes, it was an office setting, and I can't remember exactly what office setting we were in, but she had beautiful pictures of her family in her office. And I was like, oh my goodness, you have a beautiful family. Um, and the funny thing is that I was actually able to meet her husband. Her husband, while me and her were having this discussion, her husband called her. He was actually meeting up with her so they could do lunch together because she was getting ready to go on her lunch break. It was so beautiful. I was like, oh my goodness. It was just so beautiful. And she told me that her husband was not her type, but she had prayed to God and she asked God, like, God, if you send me a good man, a man who, loves me, and respects me for who I am and who's going to cherish me and treat me like a queen. And she said she gave it to God. She gave it to God and she let God do the rest. And God sent her husband to her. And so I was able to meet her husband, and he was just so sweet. And, let me tell you, after me and her had that conversation, I ordered that book so quick. I ordered that book so quick. But you do need to change your mindset. You do. You have to change your mindset. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. Because a lot of times, types, a lot of times they just don't always work out. They just don't. And if you really want to be married and you want to be in a relationship, and it's not you settling, or it's not you saying, oh, I'm just gonna accept anything. No, no, you still want someone who's going to treat you the way you deserve to be treated. You still want someone who's going to respect you. You still want, you know, you still want that equal reciprocity, all of that. And of course, you want them to be attractive. Like, you don't want someone that you're not attracted to. But, that's how the issue with types can become. I feel like that's how types can kind of, I don't want to say it can be tricky, but I feel like that's why I said it's like it's superficial. Like, it can be superficial and it can be a fantasy. A lot of time when people have a type, they are looking for a certain look. They're looking for a certain look. They're looking for a certain aesthetic within a person. Um, you know, it's rare that somebody actually loves someone for their personality or loves somebody for the fact that that person can make them laugh, or you can have an intellectual conversation with that person, or there's that emotional stability. You know, it's rare that, you know, you have people that's actually looking for someone that can, you know, build them up in the spiritual sense, in the mental sense, like versus the physical sense. But, you know, like I said, there does have to be a level of attractiveness there, but they don't have to check off all the boxes. The issue comes in where that person has to check off every last box. Because let's be honest, realistically, that person is not going to check off every last box. They're just not. They're not going to check off every last box. But it's like the beauty is that she gave her situation to God. She gave it to God, and God came through for her. You know, and it's because she decided to get rid of a certain mindset as well. You know, surrendering that mindset and giving it to God, you know. So, which can be kind of hard to do. It can be kind of hard to do when you're kind of fixated on a certain thing. Um yeah, it can be. I get it 100%, but when you get to a place in your life where you are like, and you don't go choose somebody outside of your type just because you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, because also check yourself for any healing work that you may need to do. You may need to do some healing work on yourself as well. You know, like, why is it that you are stuck on this particular type of person? It may be something within you that needs to be healed, that you may need to examine, that you need to um you know, look at, do a review on. What was it? Is it something that stemmed from childhood? Does it stem from an insecurity? You know, what is it that you continue to choose a certain type, and you know, you're fixated on that and not willing to step outside of the box for a potential partner that could really just fulfill you, you know, in all areas, mentally, you know, spiritually, as well as physical, you know. So it's definitely something to think about. It also makes me think about too, um, like, I'm trying to think if I should say this or not. Nah, I'm gonna save that for another day. I'm gonna save that for another video. I'm gonna save that for another video. I'm gonna save that for another video. But yes, drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this. Are you someone that's stuck on a particular type of person? Are you someone who, you know, have you said to yourself, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to allow myself to stay stuck on a particular type of person, but yet you find yourself going back towards a particular type of person because every time you tell yourself that you're going to step outside the box, you get kind of, I don't want to say you get afraid, but you kind of start second guessing, or you get apprehensive and you're like, nah, I can't, you know, and you end up going back to a particular type of person. And once again, it ends up not working out. You know, are you willing to step out on faith and trust God and just, you know, allow God to send you a good man, whether he fits, you know, the physical attributes of your type or not? You know, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to allow God to take over and, you know, make that happen? For those of you who do believe in God anyway, you know, but are you willing to take a chance and, you know, step out on faith and allow someone completely outside of your type just come in and be a part of your world. And if anyone is watching this who was once in the mindset of only dealing with people who fit their quote unquote type, and you just decided to step outside of the box and choose someone that's not your type, how did that work out for you? Are you married? Are you still like dating, going steady, going strong? You know, what was it that, that you experienced? What were your differences between talking to someone outside of your type versus talking to someone that you would consider to be your type? What were the differences when you did that? I would love to know everybody's opinion. And I do feel like, honestly, I feel like you can miss out on a good potential partner by being too fixated on a certain type of person. I do feel that way, honestly. And like I said earlier, it causes you to misjudge and do unfair comparisons, because you're comparing your type to someone who's not your type. And so someone who's not your type, you're not really giving them a fair chance. Like, you're not giving them a fair assessment. And those seem to be the ones, like I said, who are always in the comment sections, who are always underneath some relationship posts talking about all men are the same, all women are the same, and you wonder why. You keep going after the same type of person. That's why you feel like they are all the same. It's like you go under, and even if it's something that needs to change. It's something, it's definitely is something that needs to change. It may be an environment, it may be physical attributes. Shoot, for all we know, like, it may be you. But we don't have to be, don't be that guy, don't be that girl. All men are the same, all women are the same, everyone is the same. Go heal your trauma. Go heal your trauma. Step outside of the box and just, yeah, because love is love at the end of the day. But that's all I have today, you all. So yeah, hop down in the comments and let me know your opinion. Let me know what you think. Again, the question is, can having a type cause you to miss out on a potential partner? Let me know what y'all think in the comments, y'all. And if you have not subscribed, make sure that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell, because you don't want to miss the next video that I upload on my channel. I have more content that I am working on that's coming your way, and you don't want to miss it, all right? And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much. It is greatly appreciated. But until next time, y'all, this is Michelle signing off. I do hope that you have a blessed holiday. Stay safe. And a happy new year. I will talk to y'all again soon. Okay? Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.